prepare for our meditation, I'd like to introduce our guest speaker for today, Manifest Ra. But first, let's take a moment to look at a few spiritual dynamics. The term Ra is derived from ancient Egyptian beliefs, meaning sacred being. In ancient Egyptian religion, Ra emerged as a major god identified primarily with the midday sun. The sun represented light, warmth, and growth, as it still does today for so many. During that time, all forms of life were believed to have been created by Ra, with the sun rising as a sign of rebirth. So it is only fitting that Manifest Ra is a transformational speaker, assisting us with moving into our new groove. He's a life balance expert and a Qigong ambassador. He is the CEO of Manifest Entertainment, LLC, a life balance, wellness, and empowerment company that provides transformational speaking, balanced living seminars, and coaching to colleges, universities, schools, businesses, government agencies, and churches. As a graduate of Florida A&M University School of Journalism, Manifest Ra earned a bachelor's degree in public relations. He received his Qigong Healer Instructor certification at the Chinese Healing Arts Center and has studied, practiced, and taught Qigong, meditation, healthy eating, and other life balance systems for more than 15 years. Manifest Ra is also the founder, chairman, and spiritual director of the DC-based nonprofit organization Heal Humanity, where he organizes and promotes the Universal Love Movement, a monthly gathering which brings people together from all walks of life in the spirit of oneness, wellness, and awareness. Partial proceeds from Manifest Entertainment are directed to Heal Humanity for the promotion of the ideals of world peace, natural living, universal love, higher consciousness, and sustainable development. For our meditation and message today, let's give a warm unity welcome to Manifest Ra.
Good morning, Unity. How are we doing today? Good. It's a pleasure to be back. I want to thank Reverend Sylvia and the beautiful staff here at Unity of DC for inviting me to return. This is a very important day. It's the first day of Black History Month. It's also Super Bowl Sunday. It's a time for celebrations, for gatherings, for people just coming together, whether you care about football or not. People come together in just the spirit of unity. But let's think about this. How many people out there are ready to make history and to actually co-create changes on a super level in your life from the health, abundance, relationships, more prosperity? If you're ready to actually make history, not just celebrate history, but make it and create the changes that you've always wanted and you know you need to not only benefit yourself, your family, and humanity, stand up and give yourselves a big round of applause, Unity. When I spoke last year, the topic was love and light is our birthright. And so when I was given the call to return, I meditated on what would be a sufficient and appropriate message this time. And anytime we cultivate love and light within our own hearts, and it begins to expand, we have to share that with somebody else. We can't keep it to ourselves because then it really doesn't serve its purpose. Because the heart, as a divine instrument of intelligence, at the minimal, actually, how can I say it, 15 feet around your own being, it touches everything. It influences everyone, every being, plants, animals, everything around it. But when you cultivate it, when you refine it, it actually takes on an infinite vibration and it begins to touch people, not even in your close proximity. And so, universal love is the answer. I would say about the late 90s, I was going through an experience as a black man, a little bitter about some of the things, many of the things that have taken place, that I perceive have taken place with black people, not just in America, but throughout the world. And so I remember I was substitute teaching at the same time, elementary school, and with some of the kids, I was looking them directly in the eye as a short man. And so anybody that knows me knows I have a loving heart. I'm a kid at heart. I tell jokes all the time. So they really enjoyed my presence, not just with what was going on in terms of the math, the science, or the English, but just my presence. And I would say on a number of occasions, I had children from all walks of life, black, white, Latino, Asian, you name it, come up to me, and even in groups, small groups, and tell me that they loved me. This was the late 90s. And so something was taking place that I couldn't actually put into words. A divine intelligence, an infinite source, a God force was actually coming through me, moving me beyond any ideas of separation, any bitterness that I was willing to hold on to, not necessarily for the benefit of others, but maybe what I thought was the benefit of my own good. And so each time those children told me that they loved me, it opened up my heart and expanded it even more. And I had to sit down one time as I had some tears coming down. I had to ask myself, how was it the children who are not where we are in life, they don't make six figures, or they don't drive cars, they don't own homes, they don't go to work every day, but children, how is it that they can tune into the essence of who we really are and cultivate that within themselves and just would be willing to open up and share love and light without any regard to one's ethnicity, race, sexual preference, nationality, station a lot in life. They simply want to connect with you at the deepest level of your being. And so when I asked myself that question, I had an aha moment. That what takes place here on earth, we actually have a paradigm based on self-preservation that tells everybody that you need to fear somebody else, that you need to be in opposition with, that you are competing with somebody else, that those people over there on the other side of the world are tearing and blowing up stuff, and that somebody downtown is going to get you, and that people who may not believe or worship the same way as you are really not worthy of God's love. This is happening not just in a blatant fashion, but sometimes it's a very subtle manner. And so I want to give thanks also, take a brief moment to acknowledge my family, my mother, my father, my sister, I'm sure she's here, my brother, my significant other, my family, immediate family. And we don't always get along, but when you cultivate that loving energy within your heart, you want to reach out to them even if you feel that something is taking place that is not of the highest order. And so that not only happens in our families, that should be happening within our jobs, within our communities, and ultimately humanity. But again, as I began to cultivate that nature within myself that was already within those children, God moved me, the divine intelligence moved me to contemplate, how can I really assist? How can I serve humanity in a way that is beyond my own self-worth, my own understanding? And so eventually I came upon starting an organization, a nonprofit called Heal Humanity. And the first initiative that came through me in 2006 was the Universal Love Movement right up in Tacoma Park. And so that was a small gathering, but it's something we've been doing every month since the Saturday closest to the full moon. If anybody's out there ever been to the ULM, raise your hand. Yeah, we got a few people out there. And so we bring people together from all walks of life in the spirit of oneness, wellness, and awareness. We don't care what you look like, where you come from, as long as you show up and you bring an open heart. And so with that, we have to ask ourselves, what are the problems today that are most paramount to us resolving as human beings if we're going to continue not just to exist and survive, but thrive on the planet Earth? There's 7 billion people on the planet. Mother Earth has an abundance, but also a finite amount of resources. It's sustainable if we use it in the right way and we actually take a we approach as opposed to a me approach. It's enough for everybody. And so who are we really competing against? And so it's that same separation consciousness that will lead to altercations such as police brutality, racism, sexism, homophobia, environmental degradation, miseducation. Because we don't see somebody else as being a reflection of what we see within ourselves. And so on Super Bowl Sunday, on the first day of Black history, let's ask ourselves how we can begin making history, not just for ourselves, but humanity, and what super changes we can make within ourselves, not for the benefit of us, but for humanity. And I would say, let's start with universal love is the answer. Now, what is universal love? Universal love, according to the Sanskrit tradition, it actually is described through a word called metta. And so metta is transcending one's self-interest and embracing a collective self-interest where we have a sincere, deep amount of well-being and interest in the welfare of everyone on the planet and all beings. There's also a South African word called Ubuntu, which simply means oneness with all, a communal way of approaching everything. And so these terms and some of these traditions have always been on the planet, but we have been struggling with a third-dimensional consciousness that says we are not the same. Somebody else is different from us for whatever reason. Now, when you begin to embrace universal love, and let's think about this first day of Black History Month, think about two people who brought this universal love, this one love message to humanity. Number one, Dr. King. We celebrated his birthday just a few weeks ago. Dr. King had a love in his heart, not just for himself, not just for his own people, but ultimately for humanity. And so when you listen to Dr. King, he didn't care what part of the globe you came from, you mattered. You had a place. You were part of the divine brotherhood and sisterhood of humanity. When we think about Bob Marley, some of y'all have had a good time listening to Bob Marley. And kicking back, doing things with Bob Marley. But and that brings about one love too, but but the essence of Bob Marley was always one love, okay? And so let's align our vibration, our nature, with those two pillars of our community of Black history, of all of history. When we think about one love, a universal love, again, it's an expanding awareness where everybody matters. We see the divine in every person. And when you begin to do that, and let me tell you what actually co-creates that. We all are going through challenges on this plane, this earthly plane. It's part of our evolutionary curve. Oftentimes we call them vices. Some of us eat too much, some of us drink, some of us smoke, some of us do all kinds of stuff. We probably don't want to tell people this morning. But it doesn't really matter because you know what a vice is? I learned from my own I didn't get to Qigong because I was born that way. I got to it because I needed to resolve some of the things I was dealing with. And and each time I went through one of those experiences that really made me vulnerable and asked for not only to surrender, but receive that divine intelligence's transformation within, it opened up something where I can see a little bit of myself in everybody. I can see myself in the drug addict, the homeless person, okay? The person that is downtrodden and lost a job that's unemployed. The person who might be incarcerated, because you know sometimes we do have those thoughts that could lead us to being in jail. No matter what and where that person is, when you come across them, you see a little bit of yourself within them. How many of y'all have been able to see somebody else within yourself? I want you to turn to the person on your left and your right and tell them that you are a channel for universal love. Now let's talk about that. Because the Super Bowl, according to ratings, is the most viewed, how can I say it, single sporting event in the history of America. And probably close to maybe even worldwide in terms of what is broadcasted for a few hours. And there's a considerable amount of collective and planetary energy that goes around this one game for 3 hours. You got commercials that cost millions of dollars and people doing all kinds of things to get ready for the Super Bowl. People are not, they'll take the week off following the Super Bowl if their team doesn't win. We do all kinds of stuff around a game. Think about this. Just think for a moment, and I want you to just close your eyes and visualize us putting this same amount of intensity, this same amount of life force on an individual and a collective level into promoting universal love to our family members, to our coworkers, to our community, ultimately humanity, changing everything that we see on the planet Earth. We can do that. Not just for 3 hours, but this should be our daily experience. When you think about a channel, think about this. We turn on the TV, and depending on the time of the day, it might be dramas on, might be something that, reality show, soaps, it might be sporting events, it might be something horror-related, suspenseful. And according to the broadcast and the quality of it, oftentimes we watch it whether it resonates with us or not. We want to be in front of the TV. But you know what? That message influences you on some level. That's why it's called what? A program. Think about it. The TV, and my mom and dad, particularly my dad, used to always tell me this when I used to watch a lot of it. He said, the TV is shaped like a box. What comes through the box? A program. So the program oftentimes is designed to keep you thinking in the box. So when we think about being a channel for universal love, this is one of the most important things that we can do on the planet Earth at this given time. Because there's so many issues that are affecting humanity. The food source has been denatured. The weather is unpredictable. Okay? We have people fighting and tearing things up for reasons that are beyond really our comprehension. We have young people that sometimes seem lost and can't find their way. In America, the prisons are larger than anywhere else in the world. There's so many issues facing humanity. But at the core, universal love is the answer. Let me tell you why. Because if we approached it, that everyone that we look at or every person that we see is a reflection of us, is an extension of us, then we can actually come together on that common ground that, you know what, we have a heart. We have kidneys, we have liver, we have a spleen, we have a brain. We inhale, we exhale. We all want the same basic necessities, food, clothing, shelter, and to be loved and to exchange love. But you know what we've been told? The money is what makes the world go round. When you look at money, it also is synonymous with a word called currency. Well, what is the root word of currency? Current. From a Qigong or energetic perspective, a current is simply the movement of energy from one place to the next. So we've been told that on the planet Earth, that the movement of money from one place to the next is the most important thing around. Wrong. When we come into this world, we know nothing about currency. We don't care whether it's the dollar, the yen, or whatever it is. We couldn't care less. We don't care about that. What we want is love from mama and daddy. We want someone to provide a safety net, a loving hug, and to feed us and nurture us. And we try to take those first steps and we fall down, guess what we need? We need love. We need mom or dad to pick us up, or our grandparents. We need a loving hug and a loving word. I know when I was growing up, I used to fall down all the time. Mom used to just say, okay, let's put another Band-Aid on it, son. And it was even beyond, my infant stages. But I still fall down every once in a while. I go to mom and dad. But you know what? We need love. That first bad grade that you probably got in high school, in elementary school. Some of you maybe did so well you didn't get it to high school. But, you needed that loving hug. When things didn't go right when you played soccer or you didn't qualify for the cheerleading squad, guess what you need? You needed love. When you actually got into trouble the first time and you really need to somebody to, they may have gave you some tough love, but you needed that too. And so when that relationship didn't work out the first time you thought you were in love, who did you go to? You went to your mama or your daddy, somebody that could provide that nurturing, that love. So throughout our sojourn on this planet, love is the most important commodity. And it's also the most misunderstood four-letter word. Love is an exchange of divine energy, of God's energy, of the highest vibrational energy. And so when we actually just smile at someone, when you turn to somebody to your left and your right, and just smile as much as you possibly can just for a few seconds. Yeah. You know what? In Qigong, there's an exercise called the inner smile. And it's been proven to actually heal people and help people heal from cancer and other, like I said, what seems like fatal diseases. So simply smiling from the purity of your heart. I'm not talking about that analytical or that contrived smile. When you want somebody's money or you want to get them in and get them out. I'm talking about a loving smile from the heart. Okay? So universal love, what is that? That's random acts of kindness. And the more we do that, the more we align ourselves with the action or the verb of universal love. It's a verb and a noun. So we have to put universal love into action every single day. And whatever we do every single day habitually becomes our reality. It becomes who we are. That's why whatever habit that we have, we'll find ourselves, whether good or bad, we'll find ourselves doing that on a regular basis. So whatever we consistently do energetically, we actually create a living being around that. So when we actually commit random acts of kindness, not just hold the door for somebody, but maybe let somebody else get the parking space sometimes. Okay? When you go to when you're at home, yeah, we're gonna have some trouble with that one tomorrow, huh? Well, man, you know what? Leave 5 minutes earlier. Leave 5 minutes earlier. When somebody's trying to get over on the highway, let them over. When you go to work, take that supervisor that seems to be a pain in the, take them a piece of fruit. Or a carrot or something with some dip. Dangle a carrot in front of them. But my point is that random acts of kindness. When you go into a workplace, I actually do corporate workshops for Kaiser and Cigna where they send me in to do life balance and stress reduction. And you can tell that some of the workplaces are very negative. As soon as you walk in the door, the energy field is low vibration. A lot of gossip, a lot of people saying, you know what, I'm coming in late, I can't wait to get off, I'm leaving early, texting people. Taking 2 lunch breaks, all kinds of stuff. And they don't have anything good to share. And so you see this person, you see Tom coming through the door, and you get your belongings, you start heading the other way. But you know what? If you just actually said, you know what, I can be the change in this environment. I can actually bring universal love and light to this scenario. Actually, you being the change changes the entire room. We've all seen that person, as soon as they come through the door, they bring love and light, and everything changes. Everybody wants to be around them. People actually start being more productive, and they stop texting people, and they close down the Twitter account, and they start just working. Because they enjoy being around that particular supervisor or employee. Ask yourself, are you bringing that love and light? Are you running from everybody else, and everybody else is running from you? And so universal love is committing random acts of kindness. It's also cultivating the heart through a mindful practice. That exercise we did, any kind of mindfulness exercise, whether it's yoga, prayer, meditation, Qigong, Tai Chi, anything that aligns you with the authentic nature of your heart and gets you out of your rational mind from time to time will actually keep you in your right mind. And so cultivate the heart through a mindful practice. And number 3, see the divine intelligence, see the infinite source, God's source, in every single being that you come across with. I don't care if it's the homeless person. You don't have to agree with them. You don't always have to engage them, but understand wherever you are, God's presence is. It's showing up in everybody. And oftentimes, we're just one bad, tragic situation of being that same person we're judging and holding grudges against. So in closing, when we think about a channel, it broadcasts a series of programs. And the programming could be to our liking, or maybe if you tune to something on PBS or public television, you'll find something more wholesome, something more about the environment, something more in tune with universal love and people around the world coming together. And as that channel of universal love, you begin to expand and everything else around you expands. You take a love and light to work, to home, where family members who seem to be estranged from you now want to connect with you. Because you're moving beyond whatever hurt they're dealing with and whatever hurt you've experienced from them. You're saying, you know what, this person is in my life for a reason. I'm going to actually love them the best possible way I can. When you take this to work and you actually say, okay, God has me in this job for a reason. I have to deal with this supervisor. You know what? I don't know what this person is going through at the deepest levels. But if I change me, if I open up my heart, I don't have to put myself in a vulnerable position where I'm hurt, but simply opening up my heart to accept that the divine intelligence is within them and I can do something that uplifts them, you'll see a change in them. And so as we prepare for Super Bowl Sunday, let's ask ourselves, what do we need to eliminate from ourselves to be more an empty vessel, a clearer channel for universal love? If it's any kind of remnants of racism, sexism, homophobia, environmental degradation, miseducation, me against them, ask ourselves, ask yourself, what can you let go of to become a more empty vessel, a channel for universal love? Think about this. Allow me to take off my clothes from my head to my toes so that you can see me as I really am. More than just African, Asian, Hispanic, or European, I want you to define me as a divine human being, striving for oneness with God. See, in the scriptures it says, ye are all gods, children of the Most High God. We are microcosms of the macrocosm. But somehow we haven't been able to bring about world peace because we're focusing far too much on our clothes. We're always cloaking ourselves in the garments of religion and race, giving too much credence to the complexion of another's face. By the way, what's your faith? Are you Buddhist, Hindu, Jew, or whatever? My question is, what difference does it really make? These are different paths to the same destination called oneness with God. You take your path and I take mine, and if we're patient and persevering, we'll all get there in due time. But I don't want you to get crazy in your mind thinking that somehow your path and your way is better than mine. Because the path is not important if we never really arrive at the destination. And that's universal love and oneness with God. See, people have been killing each other over race, religion, and resources for thousands of years, and it's sad to say that in 2015, some of this is still here. Killing is going on in Israel and Palestine and Africa and Afghanistan, and the Creator has a master plan. Peace on earth for every woman and man. But how can we get there if we're killing each other over race, religion, resources, and bits and pieces of land? Dear family, when we were born naked as babies with no clothing, race, religion, and resources were things not worth knowing. We only wanted unconditional, universal love from Mama. Maybe that's the key, unconditional, universal love, beyond and above your race, class, status, race, religion, and anything else you can think of that causes our separation and division. I want you to do yourself a favor today on Super Bowl Sunday. Come out of those illusionary clothes, and maybe, who knows, we'll find world peace. I want you to think about it. We're on the same team as we approach Super Bowl Sunday night. We're on the same team. The ball is in our court. Let's make sure heaven touches down on earth through universal love. Thank you for listening.